Hello, my name is Cardin Chung, and I'm a reporter for CFISD Student News. We are honored to have an interview with you. We want to inform you that this interview is a part of a series of interviews for all candidates. We are a nonpartisan organization that cannot endorse, dedicate to keeping the students of CFISD informed, and this interview helps us fulfill this mission. We want to let you know that this meeting will be recorded and uploaded to social media. Additionally, at the end of the interview, we will ask a set of extra questions that our District Affairs Committee would like to know. With out of the way, let's begin the interview. So in this interview, there are 3 sections. Section 1, general questions, which would take 15-30 minutes. They're questions that we've asked other candidates or from a poll that we created. Section 2 is candidate-specific questions, 15-30 minutes. Thanks to you making our job much more easier by sending your resume, we crafted a set of questions that are more relevant to you specifically. Then there's section 3, which are the more trivial questions that we go to until there are 5 minutes remaining in the call or, we finish it all. Let's begin with question 1. Who are you? Where are you from? And what position are you running for? Most importantly, tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Cardin, for inviting me for this interview. I'm Radele Walker. I'm running for the Cypress Fairbanks Independent School District Position 5. I have lived in the district since the 70s. My family moved here. My dad built a couple of restaurants. He's an Italian immigrant. He did not have a degree, but he had a really strong work ethic. So when we moved here, there were some real fond memories growing up of this area. He used to feed all the coaches after football games. And that's where I kind of got to see the joy of giving back to the community. And he absolutely loved it. I've been in the district, like I said, since the 70s. I started working in the district, as a school bus driver, and then a paraprofessional, and then a teacher, and then administrator. I recently retired in 22 after 23 years of service in the district, and I held a variety of jobs, as you know from the resume I showed you. And I really just want to give back to the community and serve my community with my in-depth knowledge of the district and my leadership that I've learned from the district.
Thank you, Ms. Walker. We appreciate your 23 years of service. That's very lengthy time. And, it's clear that you have roots in the district from your younger years. And we really we respect that and appreciate it. But that brings us to the next question. How does CFIC impact you personally? And how will these experiences influence your decision-making as a school board member?
Personally, well, I am deeply, deeply invested in this community. I've lived in this community my whole life. I've raised my family in this community. I'm still obviously living in this community. And CFISD impacts the community because our community's roots is invested on the kids that we are bringing up in our school system. Everything's impacted. The local businesses are impacted by the kids in our school district. Our property values are invested on how well our school district does. The kids and the children and the building and all of the employees impact every piece and every tentacle in our community. And I am absolutely passionate about the people in the district, about my parents, about the kids. I've spent so much of my life serving them. And I'm hoping that my knowledge of where we've been as a community, where we want to go as a community, the diversity that I am so proud of in the community and this district, I want so much to serve. That's really why I'm running for the school board, is an opportunity to serve my community in a different capacity.
Yeah, okay, I absolutely respect it. I mean, you're kind of getting back in the game, just in a different position. And we absolutely respect that. That brings us to the next question. It's not really about you, but it's about the slate. How does your campaign slate work? What are the other candidates you're running like?
Are you asking me what the candidates that are on my slate with me, what they're like?
Like, what are they like? Like, how you with them and all?
George and Natalie, absolutely. Well, I'll start with Natalie, Dr. Blassingame. Incredibly smart, incredibly gifted. She has got such a passion, and she is so talented when it comes to curriculum and instruction, K through 12 leadership. She just comes with a wealth of knowledge, plus her leadership on the board. I've watched the board meetings. I've obviously been watching them throughout my entire career, but here lately with where the current board has been going. I've seen her try to guide the board in different directions. And I know that she is not always had the support of everybody that she needs to make significant improvements. And I've seen her take responsibility for things when she didn't feel like she made the right decision, which speaks volume to her integrity, that she is someone who's humble and will speak up and will defend the people that are disenfranchised. And then she'll also take accountability when she thinks she doesn't do something as well as it could be done. And I have so much respect for her. And George, wow, he is amazing. That he is so smart. He is so talented. He served on the board. He was on the board when we were at our best as a district and when we were growing. And I just have so much respect for George. He is a certified CPA, retired, but he brings such knowledge and wealth to the district and in a place that we so much need. We've got a major financial deficit, and him and his experience are going to speak volumes to working through that financial problem and figuring out the why. He's also incredibly passionate about reading comprehension, and he knows a lot about the reading comprehension issues that we have in our district. And he and I and Natalie are all aligned on how we want to approach reading and making sure that we have reading comprehension by third grade. We know the importance of phonics in our schools. We know the importance of memorizing phonemes. We're not doing that right now. And there are other private schools that they're producing much better results in the areas of their reading scores. And so we want to really bring that back into the classroom. I just have great respect for both of them. Together, we're a pretty formidable team. He has that finance background. She has the knowledge of the board and the workings, and she has the background of K through 12 leadership and curriculum instruction. And then I know our district. I also have curriculum instruction background. I've helped design it. I've done a plethora of things, as you know, and you saw on my resume, but I know our district. I know the leadership. I know the talent that's in our district. And I'm passionate because we have incredibly talented people in key positions in our district. And teachers, my gosh, everybody wants to have a Cy-Fair teacher. We've lost some really great talent to our neighbors, Waller and Katie, and we've got to work really hard to get them back. And I know that we can get them back. I know we can, based on the classroom and making sure the classrooms are where they want to teach in our district, restoring discipline and giving them the support they need to perform and do what they know. I mean, we just got talent from top to bottom in our district, and we've got to be able to tap into that and get that support so that they can bring our kids to where we know that they can peak performance in our district.
Thank you very much. It's good that you can explain like what things that one candidate specializes in the other. It's good, it makes it coherent and more solid. And I respect y'all's mission and vision, and I look forward to see how that goes. The next question is, what policies do you plan on implementing or reversing in CFISD?
Well, right now, I think it's important to go in and get the finances under control. I am all for an audit, and I don't think you can move forward until we have a forensic audit that goes in and looks at everything. We've got to figure out how to make this district run better. Um, I own my own company. My husband and I have a pest control company, and we have since the mid 80s. It's imperative when you run a company that you be financially solvent and that you run it um, in a way that makes it, like I said, solvent. I We've got to get that. We've got to get that under control. Once we get that under control, I think the board needs to be concentrating on classroom, what impacts the classroom. I'm absolutely 100% determined that whatever we do in that boardroom, whatever rules or policies that we pass have a direct link to the classroom. And I want to make sure that if we say this is going to happen, that I can see the path from the boardroom to the classroom. I want to know how it's going to directly impact. I think that's been something that's been missing, is that rules get passed and they don't think them through all the way of how it's going to impact the building or the classroom. How does it actually, well, like the transportation issue, without understanding that we have some very busy areas in our district. I get it. They were trying to cut costs, and I get it. And on the advice of, the district, let's do this. Let's you can't do that when we have such a dangerous area. Now, maybe there were some areas, inside subdivisions where maybe there could have been some safety areas, but that's where the stakeholders have got to all come together. You've got to have parents, you got to have a lot more parents involved in those kind of decisions when you make those kinds of decisions. So my impact on the board is I want to make sure that when we make policies, I want to know how they're implemented from the start to the finish, and how they impact the schools and how they impact the classroom more specifically, and teachers and students and parents.
Thank you very much. It's definitely good. I mean, transparency is very important nowadays. Some things are hidden that should be revealed to the people, and I absolutely agree with you. Hopefully, we'll go back into that direction. That's
Absolutely.
to little. That brings us to our little more trivial question. How do you feel about the new phone policy?
Well, as a two different hats, right? As a community member, I can understand the concern of children not having phones because they're scared that it's a safety issue. But from being inside the building, every classroom has a phone, every office has a phone. So if children needed to use phones for safety reasons, there's phones everywhere. I've actually heard from an educator who I respect very, very much. And they were kind of upset because the phones are used in their curriculum. It's cheaper to use kids' phones for filming, for journalism and radio, television, and things like that, than it is for them to buy cameras and such. So they had a legitimate, like, it's easier for the kids to have their phones to use them, because we do these things that actually use them. I've seen, my history classes use them for projects. So I'm kind of the baby with the bathwater. However, I will tell you, I think we've overused technology in our schools. I think we've underutilized handwriting and the basics. And I think that the cell phone policy is a good policy because a lot of the disruption in the educational system comes from cell phones. We're chasing down lost cell phones. We're chasing down stolen phone. And that's human resources coming off of whatever it is they're doing to help with keeping up with these $1,000 devices. And then you've got the tests and kids taking pictures of tests and sending them. And then you've got the harassment and the bullying. And you've got, like, think of a world where you're sitting in the cafeteria and you don't have to worry about something being dropped to everyone in your cafeteria at the same time. A boyfriend, girlfriend, break up, and there's some illicit pictures, and now they've been dropped in the entire. It's hard to live in a society where you're sitting here and your world is being blown up electronically from moment to moment. How do you concentrate? How do you walk down the halls and concentrate on a math test when you found out that someone just posted something on social media? So that distraction is deadly. And it's great that we can protect our children from that type of harassment while they're in the safety of a building. So I give you some different perspectives how I feel about it. Overall, I think it's a good thing. I support it 100% because for the good stuff I talked about, I think you can make up with partnerships. Verizon Wireless is going to get rid of phones. Let's have control over the phones. Let's turn off the ability for them to have internet access and just use them for standalone, and have Verizon or AT&T or whatever partner with us and provide that if we need it. But kids with data packages walking through, just no. I'm for the cell phone policy, and I think it should be enacted. And I think we should have tough cell phone policies to take the weight of the human resource off of keeping track of them and all of that.
Yeah, I like how you kind of dived into different perspectives. I mean, you mentioned some potential positives, like how we could use it in courses, but also the potential negative about how it could potentially inflict a lot more damage to a person than expected. And
It's
hopefully
just
that
hard. It is.
it's very bad. It's
Mhm.
bad, and I guess this will definitely help prevent something like this to ever happen in our school district.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but that'll bring us to our last question for our general questions. How do you plan to work with state legislators to improve CFISD?
Well, I'll tell you what, one of the things missing in 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 every facet of, I want to say, legislation, the school board, is the ability to have conversations with people with dissenting opinions or different opinions in a respectful, non-accusatory way. It's like a lost art of being able to work with people that have dissenting opinions. You have to listen to someone and you have to understand where they're coming from and why they feel the way they feel in order to meet common ground. There are certain things that I'm passionate about, and there's certain things that others are passionate about. And then there's the ability to have those conversations and come up with deep, meaningful legislation and policies that are for everyone, without compromising. You don't want to ever compromise your ethics, your your passion for children. At the end of the day, every single decision that's made, you have to go, how does it impact students? How does it impact the classroom and the teachers? Is this good for them? And if it's not, then you cannot consider that an option. But you have to listen. And I think that's a lost art. And I think that's how you have to start off by going to legislation is listening and explaining yourself, but in a respectful way and in a way that shows that you have the ability to collaborate and be transparent. That's a key. Collaboration and transparency, and honesty and respect.
Thank you. Yeah, I like how you approach it. I mean, I think approaching is one of the most important things you consider before doing it.
Mhm.
Um, it really it's one of the things that some people forget. Like, we want to do this, but we got to approach it first. But yeah, thank you very much. That concludes our general questions, and we'll move on to the section two, candidate specific questions.
Okay.
With over 30 years of experience in Cy-Fair ISD, what lessons have you learned that you would bring to the school board?
Hold it. Hold it. You said 30 years?
Sorry, I input it.
Hold up. Hold up. It's okay. 23 years, but that's what
23 years. I apologize.
that's okay. 23 years experience. What? Okay. What was the rest of the question? I'm sorry. You caught me off guard with the 30. Sorry.
Okay. What lessons have you learned that you would bring to the school board?
Oh, absolutely. Well, my deep understanding of how the district works. I have, like I said, been in a variety of jobs and roles in our district. I have gone through the leadership training, the Leadership to Academy training, which, so I understand how the district wants to approach leadership, but I also have been in the buildings and I've seen where things don't work. And I've seen, um, things that don't always make it to where it needs to be made to. Um, I have a macro understanding of how things work and a micro understanding. And I think that uniquely qualifies me to help with any policies or procedures, and making sure that they are impactful and that they help student achieve, higher success and teachers, um, continue to want to work for our district and be in our district and in the classroom. I've seen the struggle of the classrooms and the discipline and the campuses, and I've seen the breakdown with the district, and not understanding some of the things that have been passed while working in the district, not the board, but working in the district. So I want to help the board make impactful decisions that promote students, success and academic excellence, and also make teachers want to come to work, make the campuses and make the classrooms theirs, places that they can, um, thrive and teach because that's what they want. They love our Cy-Fair ISD teachers love kids. They want so much to touch the hearts, the minds of kids. We've just got to get out of the way and let them do it.
Thank you very much. The thing is, you have a weird perspective. You have an inside yet outside perspective when it comes to the classroom because,
I do.
as AP, you didn't teach in the classrooms, but yet you saw it from the inside of the school that not many of other people are able to see it, and that perspective definitely is valuable. That
Now, Carson, I do want to tell you, I did teach before I was an AP.
Oh yeah,
So I do have classroom experience.
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I do remember struggling with discipline, and I do remember sometimes it's not now because I have this unique perspective. At the time, I felt like I wasn't being supported, and I had this feeling. But then when I became an administrator, and I realized that the system was severely drained, that it wasn't always someone not wanting to assist me, but it was trying to find the way to assist me, trying to find the time, because there's so much put on the administration and the teachers. It's just everybody's doing the best they can. So,
Which basically kind of gives you a perspective of the whole system. I That's absolutely
absolutely.
interesting, and that'll be something that would be very valuable to be brought up to the board. That brings us to the next question. Uh, as an assistant principal, you've met many students. Can you share a few memorable students or experiences with
Oh,
students that stood out to you?
golly. Now you're gonna make me cry. Now stop. Okay. Gosh, I have been so blessed, and God has just He has blessed me with some incredible students. I've got so many that touched my heart. I think that's the blessing. The blessing is knowing that I've been part of so many journeys, so many struggles, so many successes, um, so many triumphs. There, there's, there's. I just have so many. After so many years, I've got some that have gone on to Hollywood. I've got some that are gone on to country music. I've got some that are professional athletes. I've got some that are, oh my gosh, beautiful musicians, and I just and the teachers that taught them are still in my heart. Some of them have gone on to different places. I think some of my prouder moments are when kids struggled academically, and we were able to support them as a family. I think that's the most important thing is the campuses when they come together as a family to support students that are struggling. I'm thinking of one student that I tried really hard. They came from an economically disadvantaged background, and already had two brothers in the pipeline, and I was so proud of how my campus took care of him, watched after him, guided him, propped him up. We just watched him blossom, and he did so much, and he crossed the finish line, and he got his degree, and that was a major feat for him and his family. That was a proud moment for not me, but our entire building, our staff, our faculty, because every hand touched that child. But he is one of, let me put it this way: we have 3,500 in the campus I was at. Each AP is over anywhere from 4 to 500. You know, and then you do that for how many years? So, and then we're not just talking to just our kids. When we do lunch duty, you know that you're sitting in the cafeteria. There's 1,000 kids every lunch, 4 lunches a day, and we're in there and we're talking and we're communicating and we're touching base and we're loving on them. So that's a lot of kids, and I feel so blessed that God allowed me that time. There's just too much, Carden. There's too much. There's too much love and there's too much joy that I could share.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a unique perspective because you interacted with a couple of students from and some of them may be at their highest or lowest point, but you help them regardless.
Absolutely.
That brings us to our last candidate specific question. As a former video program coordinator at Cy-Fair, what experience have you gotten from that experience that could help improve communication between the district and its community?
Well, it's a unique perspective because when I started in radio television, it was when it was turning. I've told this story countless times. I took a group of kids to Florida for an STN conference where they were going through all kinds of training and competing. They were competing. And they brought a news person on stage. It was, oh gosh, I want to say 4,000 people there, or 4,000 kids from all over the country, you know, going into television or video production or going on scholarship, what have you. And I was sitting there listening to her give her, speech to the kids. And I had been teaching the children who, what, when, where, and why, the facts, just the facts. And she comes on this stage, and this was back in probably 2009. And she says, no longer is news about just the facts. You have to have an opinion. You have to sell your opinion. You've got to come from a slant. And I literally just stared at her, and I'm looking around at the other teachers going, is everybody hearing this? I was so put off by that. But that was the beginning of my understanding of where media was going. That was my little tip off. And I remember coming home in 2009 and saying to my family, I can't believe this. This was a national broadcast anchor saying this to a bunch of kids going into college. It was just the beginning. So we have a really good communications department, one of the top, the best, and led by an incredible human being, Joel. And there's really not much more we can do ethically or morally. They're doing a great job, but we can. My experience has taught me that we probably need to introduce in the elementary a curriculum for media literacy, just teaching about what the internet is and what it is not. And the I don't want to say dangers because that's not the way I want to approach it, but you definitely have to let them understand that anybody can say anything and it's not always the truth, and they have to have a filter. We need to teach them to use the filter because we have to start that in elementary school, because by the time they get to middle school or high school, it is too late. So we've got to do a better job of educating our kids while they're in elementary about the internet and what it is and what it is not, and media, what it is and what it is not. We used to have a media lit course way back in the day. But it was in middle school, or it was in high school. It was in with me, and it was antiquated. And the kids were like, they were too far past it. We need that to be brought down and be part of a base curriculum, because that is the reality of what our kids are facing.
That is a very unique perspective I haven't heard, and I think that's a good thing. I mean, it's a problem we know about, but not many people really directly spearhead it, and I like
Absolutely.
that idea. And also, I met Joel. He's a great guy. As in, he actually written an article on me a couple months ago, and I'm thankful. He was really sharp on it. I met with him, shake hands with him, see him at the board meetings and all that. But yeah, thank you. He's actually gonna write an article on another thing I'm doing, so stay tuned for that. That brings us to section 3. Section 2 is over. Extra questions. Some of these questions, as I say, could be trivial. Some of them are a little more serious. Okay. With the 25-26 school year just beginning, what message do you want to share with the CFISD students?
Get ready. This is going to be a year that we start getting into our I want to say we're going to be good. We're going to get into it. The thing is we've been doing some cleanup since COVID. COVID was a hit. It was a hit to the education of our community. It was a hit to the education of our kids. And we are trying to evolve out of that. So get ready, because we are hitting the ground running. We want to give them the best shot at doing their best. I want them to know that the 25-26 school year hopefully is going to be the start of the brightest future. I want them to know that even though when you look around and you see the divisiveness of the politics and the hate and all of the running down of everybody, there's no need for that. You can concentrate on you. You don't have to tear someone else down to build yourself up. Those days have got to, that's going to be revealed. Those days have got to go away. You have got to concentrate on you and bringing yourself up and then building people next to you up. So get ready because we're transitioning into, I think, the best time we've ever, the peak of Cy-Fair ISD. And I want them to enjoy this year because it's a transitional year. We're going to move forward and we're going to move out of the negativity that we've been in.
All right, thank you very much. It's definitely things. I mean, every year we hope we move to forward in a new direction, but with COVID becoming more, in the past, I mean, some people, I talk with some people and they're like, COVID, man, I remember when that word was thrown around so much, but now it's like it never happens. Um,
Yep,
but yeah, thank you very much for your message.
absolutely.
The
Absolutely.
next question is our most trivial. What is your favorite elementary, middle, and high school in CFISD?
That's not fair. Millsap, Arnold, and Cy-Fair. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I bleed maroon when Millsap because Janet Hoover was the principal at the time. And oh my gosh, she is an amazing human being. And I was fortunate enough to be a volunteer for her for PTO. Arnold, because I went there, I was a Buccaneer. I played volleyball there. I played basketball there. Not Downing. I got to tell you, I like Cook Middle School too, because uh, my best friend in high school, one of my best friends was Candy Cook, and her dad is the namesake. And so Charlie Cook, incredible human being, incredible human being. And of course, Cy-Fair, the original. Like no disrespect to all of the other wonderful schools out there. They are one and Cy Woods. Yes, incredible, but I bleed maroon. I do. I do. I'm sorry. I do. I do. I can't help it.
Oh, I mean, like most of the like most of the
That
candidates.
doesn't mean you're not gonna think that I can represent everybody because I can. I love this district. This district is my home. And I know each and every I was there pretty much when each and every school opened. I've seen it and their journeys are unique and incredible and they've all achieved some wonderful things. So if you really want to know, I have such respect and love for all of them, and of course all my APs from all the different and all the principals from all and all the teachers from all the different ones. It is hard to choose. It is hard to choose.
Thank you. I mean, like most of the board candidates, I told them that fortunately it's the incorrect answer. Cypress Woods is the right answer. I'm just gonna say geographically, you had to shift to the left a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I wore blue for Side Creek.
Goodness. But thank you very much. Thank you very much. You definitely have quite a background with.
Oh, well, we will say that Cy Woods has the best computer science department in the district. I will say that. I heard that from a little person I know that they've won more awards. They actually use their awards to use them for bathroom hats because they have so many awards. So hats off to Cy Woods and their computer science department.
Thank you very much. But that brings us to a little more. Let's get back to the regular course. All right, next question. While campaigning, how have you been connecting with voters, and what feedback do you have been hearing from them?
Well, I try to reach out through many, many different ways. I talk to people out in public. Anytime I meet someone who has time to talk, I I reach out and ask questions. Um, I go to events. I go to functions. I make trips. I text. I call. I have in-depth conversation with people that I know are still in the system and have concerns so that I can understand. And I will continue to do that. If I'm chosen to be on this board, I think my greatest strength is knowing that the people that are out there fighting the fight every day don't always get heard. And I want to do everything I can to make sure that their voice is heard. And that's the classroom and the campuses. The district, great personnel. I've been working with them. Most of the people that are working in district and leadership positions are in the district I've worked with or taught with, and they've moved on up and they're hardworking. I think we all need to make a better effort of making sure that what decisions we make each and every day, how they directly impact the campuses and those students in the classrooms. So that's what I've been doing. Now I'm on the phone. I'm at events. I'm out there walking. I'm in my neighborhood. I'm in other people's neighborhoods. Anything I can do to strike up a conversation with someone that's a stakeholder or shareholder, even if you don't have a child in our district, if you've got your kids going to private school, that's okay. Why? Why did you choose a private school? What do you love about your private school? What's going good for you? You cannot make something better unless you understand everything. What makes other things better? Why is one school doing better at computer science than other schools? What's so great about it? Is it the teacher? Is it the kids? Is it the program? Is it the curriculum? What? And then let's give every kid on every campus the same opportunity. So that's what I'm doing, and that's how I uniquely connect and try to stay focused on the real issues in our district.
Thank you. Obviously, reaching out to everyone is one of the best
As
ways.
much as I absolutely. You as community leaders too, people that are just stakeholders, companies, corporations, wanting to know their perspective because it everybody knows it takes a village, and we have an incredible community and we have a lot of investment in this community. Everybody's the stakeholder, everybody's a shareholder, so everybody's perspective matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. But that brings us to the last question, and a question that, us as an organization would love to know. How can students be more involved in decision making at the district level? What role should student voices play in these decisions?
Oh, I love that. A huge role, because some of the best innovations that happened on my campus came from within and started with one voice. I'd be sitting out there doing morning duty. Kids are getting off the bus, they're walking in, and they'd say, "Hey, Miss Walker, uh, why aren't we doing blah, blah, blah?" And I'd be going, "Well, I don't know." And then I'd go back to my APs and go, "Hey, why aren't we doing?" "Well, I don't know." And then the next thing you know, we've got a new innovative way of handling things. It's incredibly important that we get feedback from the kids constantly, because if you don't know that we care, you don't care what we know. And we can't teach students who feel disengaged and not part of the system. Not everybody's going to like everything we decide. Nobody likes rules and regulations. But I tell you what, when you explain the rules and regulations, it's a lot easier. One-way hallways. Why are we having to go down a hallway one way? Well, when you're so crowded that you can't turn around, we had to make one-way hallways. And it's so people can get to their classes on time. Kids helped with that. Kids help that. Absolutely. How can you do it? Through technology. There are so many apps out there that you can collect data and share data with. And you know what? Student leaders, there's leadership. There is leadership on campuses. There's the student council, which is obviously as leadership, but you also have leadership in every single club. We did a leadership. We started an initiative of a leadership for the kids. And what we did is we took the leaders from each club and organization and brought them together. And then we used them as a think tank representing their clubs and organizations. And we tackled campus problems. So absolutely organize, give empowerment to kids, then use technology to collect the data so you can use that data for important things that can help transition a campus or help form a campus and be more successful. Because the number one goal of education is student achievement. Number one. And what better way to find out why kids are doing good in classes than to ask them?
Thank you very much for that response. There's one more thing. I actually didn't tell Dr. Blasingame or Edwards, but I would love to say in this interview. As seniors, if they are 17 years old and 10 months old, they are eligible to vote to register to vote for this upcoming election.
Absolutely.
And I think the most important thing that a senior should do is do their thing. What I like to call is their last gift to CFIC, which is to cast their vote for this board election to whoever they believe can lead this district, which not on, which seems to be a very little favor, but in reality does a big impact for them. And I really encourage every senior to do this.
Absolutely. Carden, you're so right. The thing is, it's important we start now. Um, and that is letting your your group, whatever and whoever your audience is, but students understand that you may feel like nobody's going to care about my one vote, but that's exactly what is important is your one vote. Because if you go vote and you start that precedence and you start getting yourself into that, then you will have a voice in the representation. Sitting back, putting your head in the sand and acting like you don't have anything to do with it, it's going to get you what it's going to get you. And you don't want that. You want representation that makes things better for you. You want to have people in positions that make your life better. And it won't happen if you don't take responsibility. It is on every single one of us. And I'm guilty of it too. Working as many hours as I've worked, I didn't always get down and to the polls on time, not for general elections. That I am absolutely. But you cannot do that. You have to be involved in the representation. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Do it. You matter and it counts.
And I mean, I'm just gonna say this: I haven't voted myself, obviously, because I'll be eligible for this election. But I know voting actually gives you the sense of power, and that's probably something that
Absolutely.
people need to know.
Absolutely.
It's
It's
not just
important.
it's not just a circle, throw in the box, and move on with your day. You actually feel.
Well, and it starts here, Carden, with the school board. This is a small community. Ha ha ha. We're the third largest district in the state of Texas. This is an important race. Every vote counts. You need to take this seriously. You need to get out and you need to vote because this is going to determine the path of our district. And we're at a very precarious place. We've taken some wrong turns and we're trying to correct those turns. It's so important that everybody get out and vote and understand that we have got to do this. We've got to continue to have a conservative board. We have to, because we don't want the things that have been in the schools continuing. We want that to stop. We want to give teachers the ability to teach, and we want the discipline fixed in their classrooms. We've got to get out and vote. We've got to get stronger rules and regulations to back up the people on the campuses. And we can't do that if we've got people on the board letting the accountability be lowered. We can't do that. We've got to have high accountability for all.
Thank you for your input and words of inspiration to students. But yeah, I'm going to end the recording and I'll ask you the follow-up questions by our district affair committee. So I'm going to cut in 3, 2, 1.